All right, and it is exactly 10 a.m. and that tells you that you are in time for your favorite. I want to still insist on your favorite breakfast show, because literally it's still breakfast, okay? I want to say mid-morning show at this point, and that is Your World on this Mindful Monday. My name is Winnie Lubembe. Super excited for today's conversation for literally two reasons, okay? Amongst so many other reasons. One is because we're dedicating this show today for men, okay? So all the men who are watching us this morning, hi. Chachit was okay. So it's so good to see you this morning, because we want to talk about issues that affect the men, and we just want to understand why is it that men do not actually talk about some of these issues. All right, so we're breaking the silence this morning, and we're saying why men need to talk. And the question that we're asking you this morning is very simple. Why do men prefer to suffer in silence than talk about their issues? That is the biggest question that we're asking this morning. And as always, interact with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X. My guests are already here, and there's some weird thing going on. There was clearly like a color combination memo that I did not get, okay? They're only like navy blue, which is interesting, okay? But I'm sure some of you are like, Winnie, you told us that there's going to be a surprise. What exactly is the surprise, okay? So the biggest surprise is, as Your World and as Nation Media Group in general, we are very keen on you, the audience, highlighting stories and shows that really speak to you. And in that spirit, we're growing bigger and better. And like I said, from today, our show will be from 10 a.m. all the way to 12 midday. So what is the surprise, you ask? Well, guess what? We have a new co-host. The biggest question is, who exactly is it, okay? Can you guess? I'm going to give you like a second. Can you guess? I saw some of your guesses online, and majority of you, you're not actually right, okay? So who exactly is our guest, not our newest co-host right here on Your World? Well, drum rolls, please. We are introducing Mwikali. Look at her, looking up. Please, come on. Don't begin. Hi, I want to give you a hug. You look so lovely.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling?
I am ecstatic.
Yeah, and we're also excited to have you on the show. And like I said, it's going to get bigger and better moving forward.
I'm a ball of energy, positive energy. That is what's up. Expect nothing other than utter beautiful conversation, aspiring conversation, life-changing conversations. I will bring the energy and expect you to bring it too. So,
right? It's our show. It's our show. So we bring all the energy, double the fun, double the impact, double everything that you can think about. So we're so happy to have you, Mwikali, on board. Welcome. I hope you're feeling at home already.
I am.
I hope you're excited. We have an audience.
So easy. You made it so easy. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So guess what? Mwikali will actually be coming. She's here. She's gonna stay until the end of the show because it's our show. Yeah, Sisi Wate, okay? So she'll be taking us through the second hour of the conversation. What will you be focusing on? Because like I said, today's focus is purely on men. So everything and anything that you can think about the men, okay? We'll be focusing on the same today, all right? So Mwikali, what should we expect in the second part of the conversation?
The second conversation is very important because it focuses on relationships and finances. And I think there's a relation in there because you've had that thing for why are you getting married and you don't have money? Why are you dating? So there's a correlation when it comes to finances and relationships. So we'll delve deeper into that in the next hour.
You know what, as they say, mwanaume ni pesa. So today we'll get to understand what exactly does that mean, okay? But at the same time, like I said, we have an audience today. Wanaume, I don't want to say club. Wanaume ni who? So no, wanaume 1, 2, 3. Even you guys on the panel. Wanaume 1, 2, 3. Better. Yes, that's much better. So on this part, first part of the conversation, we'll be focusing mostly on the health aspect, okay? General well-being, really. So from mental health to physical health to anything, okay? Do they even have time for self-care?
I don't know. Do you just walk into a hosi and be like, nimekuja niangalieni?
Right? Help me.
I don't know. I'm about to find out though.
Right? Yes, so that is what we'll be focusing on the first part of the conversation. And also, Mwikali will also be engaging the guests, the audience that we have on set. Just get to understand. When is the last time they even went to a hospital and just said, maybe nimekujia check-up? Okay. Yes. So Bukali will be with the audience. Leo watafunguka. Okay. But but my panel is already here. I'm so used to introducing them. Now I want to give you a chance. Mujipigie. Sindio, let's start from.
Leave you to it.
Oh yes, and then we'll speak to the audience in just a second. All right, so let me begin with you. Of course, I know you, okay? But what you at home? Tell them. Who's that CV?
Thank you, Winnie.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
My name is Dr. Jerry Okello. I am a director of Medical Health Services. This is a curative organization. Apart from that, we are running a home service product whereby we come at home and we see patients at home. Yes.
All right, I see that. Thank you so much, Dr. Jerry. Okay, Pastor Baby.
Good morning, and my name is Simon
Reverend. Baby. Yes.
I'm a father. I'm a husband. I lead an organization called Transform Nations, where we do programs for men. I think the one that a lot of people know is Man Enough. So getting men together to talk about their issues and become better as well. But we also do programs for fathers. We do mentorship for boys. So that's under Transform Nations. Just different programs to help the boy child.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to be here.
I like that. Okay. All right. Emmanuel?
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Do you know I tell people Happy New Year? They're like, Winnie, tumeshafika February.
Let me tell you, it's the first time we have seen each other this year, so it's valid.
After September,
After
it's still
September,
Happy New Year.
Yeah, but it's good to be here. My name is Emmanuel Gashanja. I am a husband, a father, and a relationship champion. I am the founder and of iVow, which is an organization that seeks to preserve the sanctity of marriage. And yeah, it's an honor to be here, and I'm excited for this conversation.
And it's such an honor to also have all of you. And you know, the reason why I asked all of you to introduce yourselves is because tunasikianga wanaume atuongeangi sana, atuongeangi sana, tuko tu ile kidogo tunasema, that's it, okay? But sometimes it's also important to just give them a chance to wajiongelele, sindio? Because most of the time it's us women. Tunajua kusema. And it's so good to have all of you. And like I said, today it's such a full panel because we want to look at a man holistically, not just the mental health and the physical aspect, but also in relationships when it comes to money, because all these things sort of informs who we are, but also impact us in one way or the other. So Rev Bevi, allow me to start with you. A man, okay? Can we first of all just understand the magnitude of, I want to say that term, but really not that term, but a man? Like, who exactly is a man? What do they think? What is their perception? How do they behave? And why is this important?
Well, that's a very broad question.
Yeah.
Let me see how to go around it.
Yeah.
But even before I get into that, there's something you said.
Yeah.
Men don't talk a lot. Yet it's interesting when it comes to interviews for a job. They say men talk a lot more about themselves confidently than women. When it comes to social and personal issues, I think men just shy of. And there are many reasons why, those challenges are there. But just back to the question now. So who is a man? Of course, a man is a boy who's growing, into manhood. And I should say it's really a choice. It's a commitment to be a man. And I talk about a man is someone who has chosen to sit on a three-legged stool. Three things that support positive masculinity.
All right.
Number one is honor. So a man is his character, is really who he is within, what he believes in, his convictions. That's what defines a man. Mwanaume ni character at the end of the day.
Okay.
But number two is duty, responsibilities. We said we are husbands, we are fathers. Those are responsibilities. We are workers. Those are the things we do.
All right.
But before we come to what we do, we are who we are, which is character. And then lastly is care. And care is important because that's what makes us tender warriors. We're warriors, we're going for something, we have a purpose, a work, but we need to be caring.
Okay.
I always say a man stands at as tallest as he reaches out to care for others. Either furthest or lowest to care for someone else who needs care. So a man who has heart. So I believe a man is those three things. Character, who he is within, his convictions and how those play out in his relationships, responsibility, what he does every day, and then care.
Okay, all right. Emmanuel, I see you, deep thoughts, a man, okay, to you. What exactly is that? You know, when you hear the term a man, because you see, the society, a man is a symbol of authority. A man is the provider. A man is the protector. A man is a man is, okay? But really, who is this person called a man from your perspective?
I think everything that Pastor Mbevi has said is what I think a man is. But maybe just to add that, he's a visionary, he's a leader, and he's a teacher.
Okay.
I believe that the man has been given the mandate to think through what does this world look like?
All right.
What's the purpose? How do we make it better? How do we nurture it? How do we rule it? And I think he's the one who also helps, create the strategies to lead the rest to get into that place of achieving that goal, that dream.
Absolutely. And I'm just gonna ask you still the same, like Chari, because now you're the mid-dick in this space, right? A man, and can we also talk about their behavior, and especially when it comes to health-seeking behavior of a man? Because based from the two, there's a lot that is expected of a man, right? But then again, when it comes to like within, when it comes to like taking care of themselves, when it comes to just making sure that they are there for the family in all aspects, present, yes, but also healthy, right? So from your perspective and understanding a man from a wellness point of view, where would you say you men are at?
Thank you, Winnie.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about what Pastor Mbovia said, I've talked about.
Yeah.
He brings this topic of identity.
Okay.
Identity is a very important topic that mostly we don't talk about, but it's very important.
All right.
When I talk about identity, if I can give an example of a form, when you're going to, probably you want to fill a form for an interview or you want to travel, there is the particulars that are usually the first things you fill.
Okay.
That is the name, age, gender, all that, yeah?
All right.
So identity is, according to my view, is divided into two, whereby we have individuality, and then we also have personality. So individuality are these particulars that we feel. For example, we have our name. Our name will include our surname, whereby this will show you where this person is coming from.
All right.
When you know where this person is coming from, definitely you will start to understand him. For example, I'm a Luo. You will start understanding how Luos behave. When you go to age, you'll value me according to my age, meaning that if I'm a young man, there's an expectation of how I'm going to behave.
All right.
If I'm an elderly person, then you expect me to behave in a certain way.
All right.
Then when now you come to male, there is male and female. Now, male and female, that is where the medical part comes in. Okay. I know of a man and I know of a woman. So I know how men look like and how to treat them if it's medically.
All right.
And if it's a woman, then I'll know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
Now, when we analyze all that, then we say that is individuality, meaning that I can actually tell the subconscious mind of this person from that detail, from all that detail.
Okay.
When I come to personality, these are acquired, meaning that I can be a Luo who lives in USA. And then I develop...
Of course, a Luo would say, I'm a Luo who lives in USA. But of course, I'm a Luo living in Western. You. All right.
Now, I'm a Luo who lives in USA.
Okay.
Then I develop those characters that USA people have. Then when you look at me, or when you when I come before you, I'll present myself as a Luo subconsciously, but character-wise, I'm a person from abroad.
Interesting.
You get. So this, when we talk about all this personality and individuality, it then we can acquire personality, but we cannot acquire individuality. We develop, and it's more natural. You can actually see it. Individuality, you can see it. Now, when you align your personality and individuality, then you tend to get the right direction.
I like that. Wait, but individuality, personality, acquire, cannot acquire. Look at us going deep, okay? Yeah, okay.
Now, most of us usually tend to come out of our personality. So we don't align them with the individual, because the individuality, it gives us a direction, the true purpose. Because if I'm a Luo, there's some attribute or there's a way that I need to live as a Luo. If I'm a Christian, remember, Christianity or Muslim, they're all in the individuality part. So there's an expectation of me as a man, how I need to live as a man.
As a man,
So all this will align with my personality, and then once it's aligned, then I can be able to live a full man's life.
I can hear Emmanuel and Reverend Bevi in their head saying, and then that helps you to find your purpose. Okay, but and it's good that then we're getting to hear all these different facets. United States of Awendo, Alisema USA, so it could be Awendo. Okay, listen, let me open the floor a little bit, and then we'll come back then to understand. So then, what are some of those common, I would say, conditions that affect a man, and even like their personality and all those things. But for the audience, my question is, and I know Mikali is there. My biggest question is, when was the first time you came across the term a man? At what point in your life were you told, now you're a man? Was it when you were a child? When after, I know it's a watershed period, but really, maybe after circumcision, for those who practice. But really, at what point did you come across the term a man? And how did that, first of all, shift your perception as far as a man? But at the same time, did that shape then the man you are today? I know it's like 5 questions in one. But let's start with the basics. The term a man. When did you come across it? Who wants to go first? Who? 1, 2, 3. Who? Oh, no, you. Yeah. When was the first time you came across the term a man?
The first time I came across the term a man is when I was being circumcised. And that was when I was 9 years.
All right.
So when you, in the Luya land, when you are being circumcised, you are being taken to where the elders are. So you are being told some of the things you are supposed to do, like you are now the lead of the house. When I'm not around, know that your mother is looking at you.
Yes.
And also you are not supposed to go in the kitchen. So those are some of the things that I was told when I came across the term a man.
Interesting. So at that point, did that sort of like form some type of perception really and expectation as far as a man is concerned, and did you start behaving as a man from that point on?
Of course, you are supposed to behave like a man because you are now being monitored. A little mistake, you are being taken to the elders. This is what you are told.
Okay.
Are you practicing it or you are shy of it?
Interesting.
So you are now being taken step by step so that when you reach a certain level, you are now good to lead the family when the father is not around.
I see that. All right, one more person very quickly before we go on a break, because we really need to
go hand here.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, for me, I can say that I'm a lawyer. Because for me, I'm a Luo, actually, a man Luo. So
hey, this Luos today.
I came across the term a man when I was finishing Form 4, my Form 4.
Okay.
That's when my father told me that now you're a man.
Now you're a man.
Now you stand for yourself, go and study because you're a man.
Okay.
So being a man, it's hard, but it's easy though. And it's free. Let me say it's free being a man. You do what you want.
Ha! Hey! Freedom galore. Eh? You do what you want.
You do what you want.
Hey!
Yeah.
Okay. And has that doing what you want, eh? How's it going so far?
So far, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. Do you want to go next? The first time you came across the term a man?
Actually, to echo what he has said, becoming a man, according to us, actually, it doesn't mean being circumcised or whatever.
Okay.
But becoming a man is owning responsibilities. Yeah, because actually, let me say, me after leaving Form 4, now I became an actual man. Actual man, because with us, actually, when you're above 18 years, you love to live a life that you yourself you're proud of. That's why normally people say that laws are proud of themselves.
Yeah.
But let me say, we just choose to live a lifestyle.
Hey, let me tell you, that is a discussion, a whole different discussion in itself. Okay.
And becoming a man, actually, whatever I can say in my perspective is owning responsibilities.
Owning responsibility.
Yeah?
I really
and
like
a man, you should be a decision maker.
Okay.
In each and every circumstance that you come across, when actually you're in a group, maybe when you start dating or whatever, you should now you should have the capabilities to make responsibilities yourself.
Okay.
And able to have a say in that relationship. Yeah.
Okay, can we put a pin there? And then when we come back, then we'll get to understand what does this responsibility really look like? And based on, so what is ideal, what is expected, and vitu kwa ground, how is it? Okay, so let's put a pin there. Then when we come back, we'll pick the conversation. But again, if you're watching us this morning, I'm going to pose the same question. I know we have a question for you today, and the question is very simple. Why is it that men choose to really suffer in silence and not share their issues, whatever it is, whether good or bad, really? But also, when was the first time that you came across that term, a man, and did that define who you are today as a man? I want to hear from you as well, and we'll be taking your feedback after the break. We'll go through our socials and also use our WhatsApp number 0112 500 400, and let's get to understand a man, okay? And how then do we help and create that environment, a safe environment for a man to come up and say, hey, I am going through this, or hey, I have acquired this amount of wealth. What do we do? Okay, so how do we create that safe environment for the men to talk? So it's going to be an amazing conversation to continue all the way up until 12 midday. But for now, let's take that break. See you shortly.
Challenge. Be as strong as this. In every collision, discover the world as it is and uncover a strength that's yours. Redmi Note 14 Series. All-Star Durability.
Leo nataka niseme na moyo wangu, niupe ujasiri japo kidogo, maana najua nina urafiki nao, hatuwezi kusahau tulikotoka, tukiwa wadogo we moyo unakumbuka, tukiwa na
Together, kusudi la Mungu by Jafet Zabro, dial star 811 star 925.
Hawakutuhurumia.
Skiza, Nan Nation.
Are you ready?
Lete kingari nikusetia kifua niko na dem, mwenye kuna dem pia. Masa flani ekifika na wachangamkia. After scene kabaridi sezi nkatulia.
Tunakubali. Gateka.
Cash pop za Nyandaro ni mawaru.
Only on NTV. Reach your audience instantly and make a lasting impression with Nation Sema. Affordable bulk SMS at 0.3 Kenya shillings. Own sender ID for 10,000 Kenya shillings plus 10,000 free messages. To sign up, please call 0728434979 or email us on mkibunja@ke.nationmedia.com.
Are you curious about that dazzling look? How do you define beauty? And how to dress elegant, glitz, and glamorous. The Glam Show is here to answer all those questions and show you what's popping and what's the latest in the beauty and lifestyle world, because you need it. Look your best and fall in love with Into the Glam, only on NTV.
Not interested in watching you marry Leonardo and making his life so unhappy.
You'll understand when you see with your own eyes that Leonardo is madly in love with me.
Not interested in that. Get out of here and let me work in peace.
My life is sadder than you can imagine, Angela.
Oh, poor you. So you're trying to be a victim now?
I told you I had nothing to do with it. Oscar put the papers among the ones I needed to sign.
I just want the truth, Oscar. Either the truth or your job.
You are the one.
Welcome back. The show is Your World on the new timing that is from 10 all the way to midday, and it's 2 hours of impactful conversation, fun conversations at that, but also conversations that really touches you as our audience. And like I said, this is not just our show, it is our show, okay? You, Bukali, and I, and our guests, and everybody who's involved in the show. And today on this Mindful Monday, we're beginning with men, because again, these are the people that we look up to. They are our fathers, they are our brothers, they are our friends, they are our boyfriends. I don't want to say situationships, it's a Monday morning, okay? But these are the people who are around us every single day. But the biggest question is, why is it that most of them actually choose to suffer in silence? So we're opening a space for the men today. Very, very safe space. It's 99% men. I know it's two ladies hosting the show and our producer Mabel as well, but really it's a safe space for men to really open up and talk about their issues, but also understanding how we as a society can also provide that safe space for men to talk about maybe not just their issues, but really everything that is going on in their lives, okay? And today, like we said, it's breaking the silence and why men need to talk. And the question that we're asking you today is, why is it that men prefer to suffer in silence rather than talking about their struggles? What do you have to say on our social media platforms? Well, Wikali is ready to go through your comments. So Wikali, what do we have?
Feedback is amazing. There's a lot of agreeing, deflecting, all kinds of things that you can think about in our feedback. And I'm checking through Facebook right now. Joel Mogaka says, a man is a beacon of strength and security. If you panic or show weakness, the whole lot will panic and things will fall apart. A man should suffer in silence with a face of hope and courage to others, even unto his death.
Hey.
Even when all hope is gone. Hey! Faith Kiget says, maybe they fear kuchekwa. But at the same time, I think they're trying their best, hoping maybe tomorrow will be better, that their struggles will be lighter, but with time, high work. So finally, when I hear depression, unknowingly in the name of fighting, Mungu awatie nguvu, because it's never easy for them. Very encouraging there. Martin Kyle says, your struggles can be used against you once you recklessly address them to people. Sad reality. I love that they've used the word recklessly. So does that mean as a man, you need to be careful where and how you speak your problems? And I'd like to find out more from our panel today. Every man is king on his own. Kings never share their struggles. That is Samuel Muteti, Major. Ndumbi K asks, after all, who is listening to them? Yameni. If men knew where they can channel their issues, intimate killings could be put to an end. Very, very. Can I go on?
Please do.
Yes,
Please
okay.
do. Yeah.
Sometimes the people we open up to end up using our weaknesses to ridicule us. And if by chance your weakness happens to be used against you, then they say once beaten, twice shy. So that means they never come up again to ever say what it is that they are struggling with. Kimani Njau says, persecuted, blamed, and sentenced to the will of the people, but still stands to be the true meaning of life. Philip Peters Ndirango, who listens? Another question. Another man asking the same question. Who listens? And if you were to speak out, who would be there to understand? A man is a pillar, an inspiring spirit, not to be looked down upon.
Who listens? Can we just start from there?
Let's start there.
Who wants to take that? Who listens?
Let me say something there. And it's a genuine question. Because there's a natural and there's a cultural. The natural is because I have a daughter, 2 daughters and a son.
Okay.
If my daughter is in trouble, I'll rush there very quickly. I think it's natural and also cultural. And I'll listen what's going on. Yes. If my son is struggling with something, I'll probably think he's going to handle it. Before he dies, I'll be there. But it will be after a while. So I think there's a natural. There is a lot easier to listen to my mother, who's going through some struggles, than my father, who's going through some struggles. But then there's also the cultural. Culturally, then we are brought up being told, be a man. Suck it up. You're strong. So then we think, okay, we shouldn't be sharing that because, as one of the people said, it shows weakness. And of course, that leads to negativity. That's negative masculinity. That's why then we get into suicide, depression, and those things. Because we're stuffing it in. So there's that cultural. But the cultural, so there's a cultural self. I don't want to share because I look weak. I'm keeping my image. So wacha ni kufa kikondo. Very quietly. But I've been telling men we need to kufa kimbuzi. Mbuzi makes a lot of noise. Before they get to the slaughter. At least you might be rescued. At least you might be. But the other one is also the expectation of society culturally. If I'm walking down the street and we are walking down and we find a lady crying, looking like she's in trouble, we will probably stop and check. We find a man doing the same. Or you find your CEO is a man crying in his office. You ridicule it, laugh about it, maybe tweet about it, but you're not going to take it seriously. You say, what's wrong with men these days? So self-expectation, I don't want to look weak, but also will the society take that if I become vulnerable?
I see that.
But I guess we really have to get to that place where we talk.
Absolutely.
I remember a time, just based on what he's saying, we were seated, a group of boys, was 7 of us. And, you know, we talked and enjoyed a good conversation. We ate nyama, there were drinks on the table. And guys really enjoyed. At about 2 a.m., now we are thinking of going home. One of my friends asked, guys, how are you really doing? Because I'm struggling. And let me tell you, we left that place at 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And the things we heard were just out of this world. Imagine 3 of us were in divorce court.
Oh, wow.
These are friends we hung out every single day. We didn't even know they have an issue at home, that they were struggling. two of them, their business had gone under. They hadn't been working. The other one at work, was under review. And I'm just like, wait a minute. All these guys have been looking good all this time.
Yeah.
And we've never talked a single issue. And if you look at all of them, again, there's that social expectation that as a man, you carry yourself a certain way. You do things a certain way. You're supposed to figure it out. When I'm in the counseling room, I always consciously have to tell the wives or the girlfriends, because I do relationship counseling. When I consciously have to tell them, listen, the way this man is wired, he's wired to figure it out and then bring the solution to the table. He's not wired to complain. Because when we complained, we were told, stop complaining. Why are you acting like a girl? When we expressed our emotions, we were told, stop crying like a girl. And I also, Pastor Mbevi, I also had to catch myself from doing the same to my sons. Because my firstborn especially, I didn't know better. So I would tell him, stop crying I'll give you a reason to cry. And I would say, stop crying like a girl. And I realized I was perpetuating the same thing that was done to me. And teaching him to suppress his emotions and not to be able to be open and to talk. So it is actually a real pandemic.
It really is. So my question would be, and I think we'll take this as we wind up the first hour. So then how do we change the narrative? Because we understand the societal expectations and even sometimes that internal, I want to say stigma, quote unquote, is where we are today. So then how do we shift that narrative to understand that this young boy, it doesn't matter whether you are circumcised at 9, they are still a child growing up. So help them figure their way out instead of just telling them, be a man, now you're expected to do all these things, right? But aside from that, so what are some of this common, I want to say health, issues that affect men that you've dealt with over time, and why do you think that's the case?
Well, in my years of practice, I've witnessed men developing a lot of depression. That is one.
Okay.
2, I've realized that men don't like coming to hospital.
Why is that?
Well, it's the same thing. The environment has shaped us, and it has given us that personality of being strong, even if you're suffering. So you realize that if, let's say, for example, you have a family, you're taking care of the family, you have a job that is not making much, and you have a lot of responsibility. Then you look at your condition, you want to go to hospital, and to you look at you think you're wasting money treating yourself. So you'd rather consider your family first, so that if they are sick, you'll take them to hospital. The mother will take them to hospital, you pay money, but when it comes to you, you try to see if you can actually avoid spending money on yourself.
Okay.
So that is one thing. 2, again, men are just shy. They're shy of explaining themselves. Well,
also tukienda mnatuambia haya toa swali.
Well, what really happens is, let's say for example you're dealing with sexually transmitted diseases. The man will feel the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
He will tell the lady to go to hospital because there's a way he's feeling.
Okay.
Then the lady gets tested. Once he's treated, he tells the lady, ambia daktari akuandikie yangu pia. So to him, and this also we also see this in antenatal clinics.
Yes.
When the mother is paged, she goes for antenatal care, and there are some tests that are usually done. So if we do HIV tests, then it comes out to be negative. Then the man automatically knows negative. And he did go to hospital.
Yes.
The mother went alone, and this is something that now we are trying to discourage. We're trying to talk to the first time you come to the clinic, the doctor or the nurse has to be very friendly. Encourage the lady to come with the spouse. Then now, once the spouse comes, you as a medic, it's your responsibility to give that man an opportunity or to make him come back again.
Okay, all right.
So the way you treat him
Even during like the antenatal and postnatal care, Mama is like, where's your husband? Of course, you know.
That happens in, I'm sorry to say, but this government or public facilities,
Okay.
where you find that the medic or the practitioner that is there is not friendly enough.
Okay.
So we don't want to go and embarrass ourselves there.
Quote unquote embarrassed in this case. Okay, I see that. So then a question again would be for you. Then how do we change that? Like get to that point where manome atasema tu mimi leo nimeenda check up. Si ati naumwa na kichwa ama naumwa na meno. Like naenda wacha tu niende nikaangaliwe. Just make sure that everything is okay. Because even from the statistics, I mean, you can clearly agree that there's so many issues that are affecting men, but most of the time it's diagnosed almost when it's too late because they don't go to a hospital,
Actually,
right?
I could add something. During COVID, I had something sumbua in me.
Okay.
For a while. But it wasn't big. You know, for a man, if it's not killing you, you can survive.
I love this guy, but it wasn't big. The baby was suffering.
I waited for like 8 months.
Yeah.
When I eventually went to see a doctor, I was admitted immediately. I thought it was a small thing, but it should have come 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it wasn't that serious. Now it's when it's getting serious. So sometimes we wait until it's really serious for us to go. And part of it is just a fear, but also that men, psychology, men's psychology, psychic. I can handle this. It's not too bad until it's too bad.
It's too bad. I mean, and Emmanuel, we have like literally 3 minutes to go on a break. I want to open the floor also. If you have any questions, please pose it to them. But what are some of the signs that men are actually suffering? And in this case, let's not focus on relationships because we're any relationship coach at this point, right? And then we kind of will come back with like the whole aspect about money and mental health. But really, what are the signs that a man is struggling, say, in their relationships? You know, whether it's marriage or just relationships in general. What is it that we need to be on the lookout for?
I think some of the signs are some of the lifestyles that they lead.
Okay.
What they're doing to cope with the stress that they can't deal with, specifically at home.
Yeah.
You'll find men take forever to come home. You'll find men indulging in alcohol, some in drugs.
Yeah.
Some will indulge in, sex outside of the home.
Yes.
But also some will indulge in hobbies. You know, some of the guys who go for all this, who are so gung-ho about their hobbies, golfing all weekend, and they travel to all the clubs that, that partner with our club for a tournament. A lot of them are running from those issues.
All right.
So that's some of the ways that you can see.
Yeah, things
manifest.
that we really need to be on the lookout for. Yeah. Okay, I want to open the floor very quickly. If you have a question, because your time is far much spent, and we also need to then answer the question. Then, what do we need to do to change the narrative? But again, any question that yes, go ahead and please start with your name.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Yes.
My name's Johnston Imbote. I'm from Kasarani.
Yeah.
I'm a climate change champion.
Yeah.
And this issue of mental health to men, it has become an issue of late. Because men, we are really suffering in silence. We are really suffering in silence because we don't have someone to run to and express our issues or express our problem. Because now, when a man is having an issue or a depression, it is just now considered as a cultural norm. Because, for example, if we take this government correctional services like the police, for example, when I'm married, my wife assaults me. I'll suffer in silence. I won't be able to run to the police station and report. Because in the first place, the police will laugh at me. Or they will like, hey, this man has been beaten by the wife.
Yeah.
So I'll just rather suffer in silence.
Yeah. So the question is, what are those safe spaces? Who do you talk to, especially when it comes to like mental health, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know if it's a question or it's a. I think that it should be done.
Okay.
At least to salvage this situation.
Okay.
I would like to see government or to see organizations like NGOs, the government or the non-governmental organizations come up with bodies like you women, you have feeder, right?
Yes.
When I assault you, feeder will come for me.
Yeah.
But when you assault me, who will come for me? So men, we should also have such bodies that will stand for us when we are assaulted by you.
I see that. All right.
Yeah.
Quickly, anybody else with a burning question? Because we literally have to go on a break in the next 1 second. No.
All right. My name is Peter. I'm Director Bongen Investment Limited from Machakos County. And I'm a youth leader. So when it involves men, let's talk. Because I'm not in family setup, but I remember those days before my father went to be the Lord. When I want something, I'll go direct to the father. Mama akitaka kitu, anaenda kwa baba. So the question is, huyu mwanaume na yeye ataenda kwa nani? So now that question remains hanging. So to our speakers kindly, where will we go to?
Where will we go to?
Ball on your side.
I like that question.
That's a very good question.
You also have your own?
Let me tell you, I think all my questions are burning, but because I have a panel coming up, I think I will direct all of that to them. But you had an answer to.
So I said, that's a very good question. Because, I had a realization some 3-4 years ago that one, I am the firstborn. So I am the deputy parent. My parents have now rested. So I am in charge of my sisters and the care of them. I'm carrying the family name. And then at home, I am in charge or responsible, for my wife and my sons. And then in community, I am a pastor. I am in charge for the... Where am I taking my issues to? Pastor Simon Baby, where am I taking my issues to?
Now he has to answer that. Okay,
good question. I think to encourage vulnerability, for us men, I would say 3 things. Number 1, we need to redefine what masculinity is. It's not dying silently. We are human first, before we are men. So redefine the values and norms of masculinity. And right from that time when we get circumcised and we are taught now you're a man, we need to redefine that. Number 2, we need to model vulnerability. Yesterday I was telling my son, there's this money needed, this is how much I have, this is where I am, I'm afraid of this, and I feel this. And I'm modeling that to him. I do it specifically to model. But it's okay, as a leader doesn't mean you have it all figured out.
Yes.
It just means you're figuring out together with others. So modeling that, those of us who are elder men, fathers, modeling that to the younger ones. And then the culture will change eventually.
I see that.
Lastly, who do we go to? I think we need to create
you need to create your own,
we can talk. And that's part of what you do in Man Enough. You create a team of a few men, and they feel like it's safe here. We're supporting each other. Like now, me and you and a few others, we say, let's be a team together. We meet regularly, we talk. What you can't tell the children or the others, you can tell me. And I can tell you. So creating safe environments, groups of men, where we can talk to each other and be very vulnerable. And no, he's not going to judge me any differently because I talk to him, because he's also talking. And whatever we say here stays here.
Stays here. I like that safe space. All right, in like literally 10 seconds, because we literally need to go on a break and finish with this panel, because Mekaliana, she's pumped up with her panel. How then do we change that narrative so that at least we have men not go to a hospital because they've literally been dragged into the hospital, but really just wellness checkup, in the 10 seconds.
To help him again, apart from what Pastor said, I think we were created as dominion. We dominate the earth as men. We were created first, then the woman was created later. So when we dominate, it means that we have a spiritual being who actually we need to go to. So one thing that we need to have is our belief system has to be in a way that we can align ourselves with our Creator. Then we'll come to understand that it is okay to make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, it is not a failure. Now, 2, when it comes to hospitals, and we need to ensure that men come to hospital, I think, as he said, the government and the NGOs needs to support the hospitals so that we create awareness, that is health education, for the men to know that it's okay to come to hospital.
Absolutely.
And also get checked.
I see that. All right, allow us to go on a break, but again, they're still here. Hawaii. So if you have any question, for them, feel free to engage with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X. We need to close this part of the conversation, but do not go too far, because Mikali is coming up, with the next conversation, and that is on, we've touched a little bit on relationships, but I'm pretty sure she's going to touch on the same, but on mental health, which is absolutely important, but at the same time, also money. Many pesa, don't forget that, all right? But for now, allow me to say a special thanks to Reverend Simon Bevy, who's the founder and executive director, Transform Nations, Dr. Jerry Okello, who's the director, Medigold Health Services, and Emmanuel Gashanja, who is a relationship coach and founder, iVow. All right, we'll see you on the other side of the break. We'll still be taking your feedback as we continue with the show, so do stay with us and see you shortly.
March 2025, we embrace the theme of marching forward. Here we stand as symbols of progress. Together, we march with confidence and grace, showing the world that when women rise, everyone rises. As the sun dips below the horizon, we transition from the greens to the glamour of the evening. We are inviting you, all the lovely ladies, to please join us at the Muthaiga Golf Club for a very unique experience.
You are blessed. Your going in and coming out is blessed. Your family is blessed. Your children are blessed. Your business is blessed. Your career is blessed. Everything that you purpose to do with your hands is blessed. The Lord has anointed you with a fresh anointing. Your cup runneth over. The Lord has caused your lines to fall in pleasant places. Nothing can oppose you. You are above only and not below. You are covered with favor. You cannot be rejected. You are moving forward. Nothing shall stand on your way. Let this settle in your spirit that you are blessed. From the head to the soul,
Nation.
You are blessed.
Sometimes a change of scenery can do wonders for a player's career. Some move abroad for more first-team opportunities, while others want to experience something different before hanging up their boots. For veteran defender Kyle Walker, he's using the final stage of his career to seek a new challenge after swapping England for Italy.
To protect our family from germs that cause illness when it's cold, we use Dettol soap.
Dettol soap with germ defense gives you protection. When it's cold, germs are transferred in different ways, and Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Kulikuwa na fujo na shida, watu hawataki base, lakini wajua kitu kama hukijui ndio kinakutia wasiwasi. Nafikiri base ilikuja vijijini hapa kutaka kufanya research.
It's important to bring everybody along for the journey, especially being what we call the first large-scale modern mining project.
It is our responsibility to first of all come and even appreciate their operation.
In the beginning, we took a conscious decision that we were going to have to put a lot of effort into training. We had various training paths which we developed.
I started my journey in base titanium as a mining graduate trainee for about a year.
This operation is important. One, we have to ensure that we deliver the products as required by the customer.
Base Resources, I'm a base titanium. They're the largest mining corporation in Kenya today. Not only today, for the last 10 or so years.
Felista Mugo, an MMA fighter. Catch me on NTV, on Sport On.
Together we will mourn your loss.
I didn't vote for myself.
Don't tell me.
I'm giving my vote to Barbara.
There's something you need to know about Ma'am Barbara.
Elaine?
After all our family has done for you, this is how you repay us?
Barbara, please admit it. Just tell them the truth, Barbara.
Admit what?
Widow's Wear.
I want my brother completely out of the family business.
Liam is the best fit for the company.
I think ini through personal mametupatia.
Liam! Yama yuko. Wacha kugagelele hapa. Utamsha madam.
All this is because of you. Now wake up. Wake up and clear your mess.
No, ma.
Welcome back to Your World. I am your host, Mwikali. Thank you, Winnie, for holding it down. And today, being a Mindful Monday, we are talking all things men. And we're talking about breaking the silence. And the question we have for you today is, why is it that men actually do suffer in silence? That means we've come to the realization that has been happening a lot. And we're opening up the conversations today to be like, what is it? What can we do? What can we do better? If there's something that's already being done, what more can we do? And we had a panel, we talked about men going to hospital and how difficult that has been, or it still is, and how we depend on our female counterparts to bring back health results. I don't know. That sounds very career, but you need to be able to step out as a man and do that. It's work in progress for sure. We also looked at a man when it comes to relationships and their role in society and family. In this particular panel, we'll be talking about finances, mental health, and relationships all intertwined. And I'd like to introduce my panel today. And I will start with our counseling psychologist. We have Kagondu Jr. Welcome to the show.
Asante sana.
Great. And I know you did this earlier, but we're just gonna Simon Baby still here with us. Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have the gentleman who has something very interesting that we never thought that would ever exist, who gossips about money. And to think that we always talk about it and, we never put a name to it. We have Amos in the building. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
And before we get into the conversations of finances and, mental health and relationships, I'd like to find out, Winnie, what the conversations that are happening. Do you have questions on social media today about this conversation?
I mean, listen, I'm actually just sifting through and getting to understand what exactly are people saying, because again, like we said, the question that we're asking you today is very simple. Why do some men prefer to suffer in silence, and how can we create that safe environment? But also the question that I asked you earlier on, and that is, what was your first initiation, literally, towards the term a man, and has that shifted your perspective today, and has that, formed the kind of a man that you are today? A number of you have a lot to say. I'm actually having issues trying to understand which one do I go through first. But there's one who actually says, the first time I came across the term a man was when my dad died, and I was not allowed to actually cry during the funeral. And that has affected me so much so that now I am not able to even express myself, because a man should not cry. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That's deep.
That's
right?
really deep.
And I just want to understand, and especially from Kagondu, mental health, and then I'll read more, from our side. That whole aspect about, you're grieving, but you're not supposed to grieve because you're a man. What does that really do? Before I read more of the feedback.
Yeah, it's a very interesting space to be in, especially when you talk about matters to do with grief. And like he's saying, at times we are forced to postpone the grieving process, right? So that we can show up as men. And I remember what Sambevi mentioned, that men, it's all about being having that character. And the world has shown us, we have been socialized, we've been conditioned in a certain way that you have to be very strong. And in an ideal situation whereby you have lost a loved one, then you have to put aside yourself in the name of supporting the other people. But eventually this will catch up with you, and this is where you find that most of our men are really ailing. They get into addiction, talk about the recreational centers, because in a way they didn't do it on time. So they say time heals, but it's not really even about the time, it's what you do. And as a man, you need to do something in that regard.
I see that. Yes. I see that. All right. And Mwikali, I know your conversation, you're pumped up for the conversation, but just two more, and then we go into the conversation with Mwikali. The question again, like I said, that we're asking is why do men prefer to suffer in silence? Steve Roxy, this is on Facebook, says because we are men. Okay. And then Stephen Jeruke says because it's our nature of perseverance. And then okay, I think Mwikali, you read this. Elias Nesh, who said, watambia kinana ni sasa na ndio wanaume kungangana tu. Okay, and then Sheila Kandia says, juu wanaona aibu ama ni kama watachekwa, so wanaamua kuvumilia kimwanaume. And then there's one, citizen Shadrach Muthusi Kivuya. Hey! Mwikali, usi kazini yako. Says, ndume ni ya kuchinjwa.
Why?
Yeah, I'm just going to pause it here.
Why?
Throw it back to you. Okay.
What? Thank you, Winnie. I think there's so many questions that have come up when it comes to men and having these kinds of conversations, like open conversations. And I'd just like to touch on money a bit. When guys meet for, say, golf, there will be conversations around deals. You know, there'll be conversations. Probably we don't talk about how probably we are suffering, but when we go for chamas as women, ama we are at the salon, most of the times we don't talk about, na wananilipa 1 million. Unajua wananilipa 1 million. It's shrouded. Somehow we don't want to show off as women. Somehow as women it's a conversation that is not as open or doesn't happen as much as it should. But when it comes to the relationship that men have with money, what they have, how they use it, consultations around the same, being okay to be questioned about the decisions that they make, what would you say, Amos, being an expert on this field of money, the relationship that men have with money?
Well, it's very accurate because let's go with data. So assuming I'm seeing 100 men for one-on-one in 6 months, 100 clients, 80 of them will be women because they're proactive. For men, we have this attitude of, I got this. You know, I know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out. Yeah. Until now, everything has hit the roof. And I have a habit of every time I sit with men, the first 10-15 minutes, I can tell there's a distress call. Either the guy is being auctioned, bibi amepotea. I mean, bills are all over. And when a man tells you, let's talk, very few of them are proactive. So they come when everything has hit, even rock bottom. And it's quite unfortunate because I feel like men, we've allowed what we can provide define who we are.
Ooh, that is true.
So we've lost our identity. So if I cannot hang out with my two friends, if I feel like they're going to play golf and I know there's some fee they're going to pay, so instead of I telling them I don't have the money, what will I do? I'll tell them I'm too busy. Okay? And that is why you'll find we are now branded as liars. Because again, the people who we provide for, we've never taught them, like you said, vulnerability. Yes. So that's why you'll find a lot of men will lie to their wives. Yeah, they will be in denial. They will borrow for consumption. Yeah. So it's a whole crisis with men. It's a very big crisis, especially if I sit, you know, the way you have, it's good that it does counseling. I said something called financial therapy. Yeah. Where you come to my office, you know, it's you and me. I used to think I need tissues for women only.
Even the men.
Now the men are using the tissues because they've never gotten to a place where they are vulnerable. You're always, with fists, ready for fight. But we've never sat down to ask ourselves, is what we're doing sustainable? So, and remember, I'll tell you what, and the other reason why we do not even speak is because our mistakes are more costly than anybody else's. Okay. They are more shameful than anybody else's. You look at our society. You've seen two young people trending. I don't want to mention their names. One is a man, the other one is a lady.
Yes.
Who has been bashed the most? In fact, the question is, who does he go and talk to?
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
I teased guys, I think 2 years ago on TikTok, and I told men, just come as you are. We'll share a cup of tea, just carry 200 shillings.
Yeah.
Within hours, I did not have capacity. I had to change location. Over 300 men showed up.
With their 200 bobs.
With their 200 bobs.
Ready to have a conversation.
Ready to have a conversation. And I was so humble. Now we are doing it frequently because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
there is a space right there, and I like that you created that.
Yes.
There's something else that I picked up from your conversation right now is that women are involved, and that's why I say there's a correlation when it comes to men and money. And I think this I'm going to throw to the two of you because, say this world was full of men with all of the money, would it make you happy? would it be okay to have all the money and there are no women in here? Who would you impress? Who are you wooing? Subaru ikigonga hivi. The latest outfit you're wearing, the latest car you're wearing it. Does it matter if a woman is not involved?
Well, of course, we do a lot of things for the ladies as well. I think that's just the psychology of a man, for your wife and for others as well. And part of it is expectation. You ladies say, my money is my money. And then you say, our money is for both of us. Huh? So really there's a lot of pressure. But I wanted to add something there, the psychology of men, of money. For men, money is power. When they don't have money, they feel powerless. I can't provide for my family. I can't play my responsibilities. I can't take the lady out. All of that. They feel powerless. For ladies, money is not power. Money is actually security. So they feel like I'm not secure how tomorrow is going to look like or about my relationship because my man doesn't have money. So tomorrow I don't know how it's going to look like. So then to men, when they don't have money, they're feeling really bad about themselves. So it affects who they are. For the lady, it's worrying about the future. So I think we need to redefine strength. And you talked about being strong.
Absolutely.
That strength is also the ability to be vulnerable. It takes a lot more strength to be vulnerable than not. And so kujikaza kiume na kufa kikondo, as we said earlier, doesn't make you strong. Really, in some cases, it makes you weak.
Yeah.
That you don't have the courage to speak about what you're going through. If we redefine strength, then we are going to get men to a better place. Then you could be able to tell your woman, I don't have money today, and that's okay. Then the ladies need to realize that if a man doesn't have the money now, it doesn't mean he won't have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't necessarily fully define him as a man. It's just a bad time. I was very shocked, a quick one.
Yes.
That during COVID, a few men, some of them my friends, were left by their ladies in a relationship because their business collapsed.
Yeah.
Yet when their business were doing well, the men were there, the women were there. When now it collapsed and they had supported them, they left. I don't think that's fair. I think part of fairness is saying we're working this out together. And of course, that doesn't give permission to men to be lazy. I mean, we all work for this, but we support each other, and let's not let money define manhood or even femininity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I see you're burning with Santi Sekagondu. Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to pick it from there, and especially where the men were left by their ladies because they didn't have the money, all right? And this is just a confirmation that life is very transactional. Every other relationship that we have, every other encounter that we have with each other, it's quite transactional. And this is where we get to appreciate the space of money. Money being the catalyst that makes, things to move around. And in fact, they say, once man made the money, eventually the money made the man mad, all right? And this tells you that whenever we don't have the currency for that transaction, then it's not a very comfortable space to be in. And this is why you find that most of the men out there, out of what we are seeing, the character and also the image, how they perceive the social status, how they are taken to be, it's quite interesting, especially if your wallet is not loaded. And this is one of the contributing factors to the many issues that men are facing, and especially where they have to show up and more so provide, especially for those who are around them. So when you talk about relationships, how we interact with each other, and of course, how we relate with the money, it's good that we get to appreciate that it's quite transactional. And looking at it, we have to really be very mindful as men in the house.
Absolutely. When we were talking to the audience earlier, the thing that came up was I was a man. I was told I was a man at this age. I went through circumcision. There was a whole thing. They took it. It was tough. I was told I'm a man. I was told to take over the house even when dad is not around. Then you grow up, you become a husband. Then you become head of the home. And I'd like to understand what that actually means, because it is different for different people. But the pressure that comes with that, and even when you go to the good book, it says a good man will leave an inheritance for the children of their children. So it's also responsibility of leading in terms of a vision, and there's also responsibility of leading when it comes to that inheritance, which then doubles up as money. Do we have that conversation? Are we doing something as leaders and experts in your different fields? Are you actively doing that to make sure that you pass it on to them? And maybe we'll come back to maybe Winnie later to just find out from the audience if they personally have someone they can go to have these conversations with. But over to you.
Pretty nice. And I like you when you talk about what we leave for our families. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is that most of the men out there are not really prepared to be men enough. All right. And,
good one. I saw that.
Especially in a space whereby we didn't have somebody to walk with us, to guide us, and show us the way. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, I find that most of the men that I've met, that have supported, there's that inner child in them, really wounded, especially in a space whereby, as they were growing up, there were a lot of, say, traumatic encounters. They were really hurt in different spaces. And out of that, you find that when we grow up, including my friends here, we actually adults, all right? Yes. But we are babies, boys, right, in grown-up men bodysuit. Right? Meaning that we are still alien within. Okay? And this is why when I get to a point whereby there's a lot of expectations in terms of how I should, take care of my family, take care of the people around me, at times it can be confusing because that was never instilled in me. So there's a lot of trial and error. Okay, and this is why we find ourselves making a lot of mistakes. And like my friend is saying, the mistakes can be very costly, and this ends up hurting you to the core, right? So this is why we are creating a good space, and I'm very happy with what we are doing, ensuring that you provide a space whereby men can be able to talk and share on the issues that they face. I've done a book called Becoming a Man.
Yes.
And the motivation behind doing the book was the many clients who were sent to us, especially from high schools. And we're able to pick that one of the main underlying issues, it was the absent fathers. All right? Telling you that these young men, these boys, they are growing up without a role model. Even if they are there, they might be there physically, but emotionally, they are not in touch. Telling you that there's a very big gap when it comes to how we are molded or even mentored. And this is why it's very important that we have this particular conversation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe two things I would say there. The headship, the leadership in the home, redefining that, and then the inheritance as well. Let me start with the inheritance. And I like what you say about the wounded warrior. Yeah. I think it's one of, as we do Man Enough, that's the number one topic. People say, that one touched me the most. I needed to deal with issues within. But on to inheritance. Greater than what you leave for your family is what you leave in them.
Yeah.
The values you train them. I'm training my son to be able to make his own money and manage his money well. If I don't train him that, even if I give him houses, he's going to squander them. So part of inheritance is not just the money you leave for them, it's the values you leave in them. so that they can find their own money. Though, of course, it's a plus. It's a plus, guys, if we leave the younger ones here, if we leave you some property. But if we don't give you the value to handle the property, then once we die, the money will go to the public trustee because you're fighting over it. But then secondly, headship. Being a leader doesn't mean you have all the solutions or even you have all the money. Statistics show in town right now in Nairobi, between 25 and 34 years of age, women are earning more than men. Yeah, then the man is going to be the leader of the relationship. And if we don't see the man as just a money giver and a money handler and all of that, we don't stop seeing men as wanaume ni pesa, then those men are not going to marry those women at that point. We need to begin to realize leadership means I facilitate the unit that I lead. Absolutely. And sometimes I've had times in my marriage where, because I was back in school, then my wife was the one working and bringing in the money, but I was facilitating as a leader, how the home is going. It didn't make me less of a man. Absolutely. Less of a man, rather. Because of the money. I was facilitating. I didn't have all the solutions, but I facilitated to make sure my family is okay as I do other things. So redefining headship and leadership so that you don't have to have all the money to be the leader. You just need to have the wisdom to facilitate your family.
Absolutely. Do you think, Amos, that these conversations that you're having with maybe individuals who come in, men to be specific, to come in and they're like, before I came to you, this is where I was at, this is where I'm at. Do you then probably recommend that they have these conversations with their wives present? If they're dating, if they're married, does it help if we are on the same page in terms of money and opening up the conversation where I need to find out, M-Pesa, it's gone to Angoa. Why has it gone? What is it doing? You know, do you recommend that?
You want men to be killed in the...
I don't know how you can put that in caps, especially when you say, just to on what you've just said. It's not just about what you're living for them. It's about what you're living in them. Because what that does, it puts in a sense of ownership comparing to a sense of entitlement. So you'll find that now whatever, if I have built something on my own, I tend to respect it more than if I never had any part in it. And back to your question, I love this conversation because it's really interconnected. You know, being a counseling psychologist, you realize that there are traumas. You know, there are financial traumas as well. And so now we have a brand of men who inherited cultures from broken people.
Yes.
You understand? So by the time you understand that there is a trauma here, I mean, time has gone. So even as men come, whether they are married or not, one of the things that we do is self-audit. You have to ask yourself, do I have traumas? Is it a money personality? Is it a culture that I've always taken up? It's a bad culture, but I think I've adopted it as a truth.
Yeah.
Because trust you me, there are men we sit with and you're like, they tell you something they've done and they see absolutely nothing wrong. To them, this is how we do things. We're like, dude, hold on. Hold on. And it becomes a way of life. They normally say if you've grown up in a sewage area, you never smell the sewer. It stops smelling.
Yeah.
So we have to be very intentional. So even before they come with their spouses, the most important person is who? Is the man.
Yes.
Because the moment, I might be saying something contradicting right now. They say, well, empower a woman, you have empowered the whole society.
Yes.
But what if a man was to take his rightful place? Everything would change. And that is why you'll find everything we find in our society, behind it is a broken man. And behind that broken man is a broken wife, is a broken family, is a broken... Like we break everything. You understand? But if you are to be able to do a self-audit, let me ask myself, I'm supporting all these people. Let me start to question sustainability.
Yes.
If I drop dead right now, none of them will be buried with me, isn't it? So is it to start empowering them? I need to start putting things in them so that by the time I am gone, it's no longer about, Amos died, we stopped schooling. Are we together? And this is why now most men, and I encourage a lot of men, like find a brotherhood. Find someone who will call you out of your nonsense. Are we together?
Yeah.
You're used to doing so many things. Nobody ever asks you, hey, Mweshimiwa, they call you Mweshimiwa because you're paying bills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But ask them, boss, why don't you today don't pay for something? Direct it somewhere else. And that is where now we begin to have meaningful conversations. Because I don't feel like most of us are having it. Do a self-audit.
Yeah.
That would really go a long way so that you start even analyzing the relationships you have.
Absolutely. Winnie, we are at your end right now, and we're having very, very interesting conversations because as men, are you okay? Are you open to have those difficult money conversations, relationship conversations? Because we're moving around, we're walking around in relationships, not talking to our partners because we demand the conversation because we talk. So it's also for us to understand as women that this is how they behave. Exactly. This is the telltale signs that they are reaching out. That
Let me tell you. You see, the thing is, most of us, and I don't know whether we discussed this with you some time back, and we were saying sometimes we get into relationships thinking this person will change and change in all aspects: money, how they behave, how they eat, where they put their socks, all those things. But before you get into that relationship, first of all, understand who you're getting into that relationship with. Then once you understand your person, you also know how to navigate such conversations, including money, including, traumas and all those things. And I think what, all of them have actually mentioned is some sort of trauma in one way or the other, whether it's like mental health, money, because most of us when we were growing up were told money is evil. So out of those ones who have it, they got it the wrong way. So most of us actually grew knowing money is evil, and then later on we suffer and say, wale wako na pesa ni Illuminati. Anyway, but just to go through what people are saying online and also open the floor, because I know most of you have questions as far as money is concerned and all those things. There's someone who actually put a very interesting comment here. This is Admiro, based on the question that we asked, why is it that men choose to suffer in silence? So Anajita Admiro Jaden says, heri kujikalisha kamkutano ujieleze shida na at the same time unajitafutia solutions kuliko kuelezea wenzio shida zako ambazo baadaye itakuwa story pakawa kijiji mzima kila kunapokucha kila siku. And then Honorable Moses Ondieki says that's our nature. Isaac Wafula says they were created like that. And then someone says, who do you talk to? Who do you trust? Let me just get that straight. One sec. Steve Ndungu, who says, who can they trust and who's going to listen? I think the same question that was asked earlier. And then Imran Almeida says, when a crocodile sheds tears, his tears are washed out by water. When a man sheds tears, the world will never care about his pains, but everyone will still demand to be taken care of and treated well. And no one cares about you, the man. The only one who knows and sees a man's tears is God. That's very deep.
Yeah, that's very deep.
That's very deep. And then another one says, Kelvin Ngeno says, Taki kuachwa, I'd rather struggle to be okay. And then there's one who says, John Keshi Washira, who says, Manchester City na nyongwa, tulieni kwanza. But right about now, let me open the flow. Any question about City? Hey. Any question? Anyone has a question on money? Yes? Or not money peke yake? Psychologist, trauma. And also, Pasti, I'd pose this to you on the church. Because the majority of the times we see the church as a safe space where, we can run to, really. But has that created that space then for men? And especially in churches, places of worship, not just churches. But has it created safe spaces for men to talk to? But before that, your name, okay? Give your question brief.
Thank you. I have a very simple question. And to our speakers, you have a lot to do concerning money and the relationship in our generation. Because the strength of a man in our generation is measured by the wallet. Hata useme nini, hata ufanye nini, saizi kuna kitu inatembea TikTok. Inasema hata ukule jugu shamba mzima. Nguvu za kiume ni pesa. So you find that to us young generation, we have no... to us young men, like me, I'm growing young person, we have no money. And yet, tunataka kupewa responsibilities zenye hatuwezani nazo. So, how can we overcome such? And to some of us, tumeenda to extend, tushaingia already kwa hizo responsibilities. But tunapata tunangangana more than what we can provide. Because, for example, uli approach a girl akiwa high school, akaenda university, akajua style ya nywele ya 20,000.
Tereren.
So you don't want to lose her to go. Lakini anakuambia jamani, huko nywele ni 25,000. Wewe hiyo 25 even in a month ni shida kupata. So kindly help the young people. We are going through a lot.
Tumefika hapo.
And they say if you don't, another man will.
Yeah.
Anybody else who has a question on money? Nyinyi mmenyamaza sana. Okay, let me give you my question on either of the
conversation. My name is Frederick Serebwa. My question goes to Amos. So Amos, you know, women, as Mheshimiwa said about finances, you know, what brings hii maneno yote, it's just social media. So how can we go about social media? Because this social media, I can say Amos wearing good shirts, wearing good viatu, wherever. Alafu bibi yake pia ako vizuri, anawea vizuri. So that social media will interfere with my marriage or my partners. Because now my partner will tell me, you know what, I want that dress the wife to Amos is wearing. Now, how can I go with the wife for Amos, and Amos unapata anafanya nini? Anawea like $20. And I can only afford $10. Now the burden in my house, it will start from there. We'll not talk, we'll not do any things the way you are doing. So the question is for Amos, financially, how can we come out with about this issue?
The question on growing wealth. Okay. Growing wealth.
My name is Chris Kiari. Yangu ni mwanzo tuliambiwa kwamba sisi ndio the head, sisi ndio tuna provide kutoka utotoni. And so that's why unaona kwamba maybe hata saa zingine umegonjeka uko hospitalini 1 month, lakini bibi na watoto wakikutembelea wanakuulizaniaje, tujalipa nyumba, tujanini. Because hata hao wana expect. Inafanyika hivyo kwa nini? Kwa sababu sisi wanaume pia tumekata one side tumekata kuempower the ladies. Kwa sababu tunaogopa labda nikimpeleka shule atachukuliwa, vitu kama hizo. Na sasa inaleta shida kwa sababu hawa wenyewe wanakuangalia pale juu. So hata ukiwa mgonjwa unaexpectiwa kwamba wewe ndio utalipa nyumba ama fanya vitu zingine. So nafikiria ni vizuri tugawane hizo responsibilities. Na hiyo imaanishi wewe bado sio man. Utakuwa bado wewe ni man.
Okay. I think tujibu kwanza ama tuchukue swali zingine.
Okay, yeah. Shika. It's a lot.
Let's answer first and then we'll come back.
Okay, and then Ebosa tuambie kule walinunua hiyo dress.
Hiyo nguo ya dola hata si Kenya shillings.
Unajua jamaa sasa ananianika kwa bibi
Tuambie ukweli.
But it's good to be honest. I think a good reverend is here, and I'm sure having handled premarital counseling, for me, from where I sit, is that marriage doesn't go wrong. It starts wrong. So if you want to get married, don't rush. I don't know what is this rush. You've seen a young girl, pretty girl, and you know, we want to conquer immediately. Yeah? Sometimes it's also good to look at your resources. And not just the physical, not just the money. You know, even your ability to say no. You know? You have to also to, you know, one of the things that I learned earlier, and I learned this from my kids, there was a time that things were really bad and we scaled down. And I was worried, what do I tell my son? I think that time he was around 7. Yeah. And I keep telling this story. And I was telling him, Papa, we are in this small house for a short time. But after this, we will bounce back. Do you know what he told me? That it's okay, Daddy. It is small, that means we'll be closer to each other.
Oh.
And that thing set me free. And it taught me how to explain to people or how to be vulnerable with even people who are under your leadership. That way, it reduces the burden. He shared about guys who are being left when they lose their jobs. Could it be that when you had the money, you are making all the decisions yourself? So these people are waiting for, ngoja hata mimi nipate nini? It happens.
Yes, it does.
It happens. For me, I think the best financial advice I've gotten from a man, it was a man who was playing golf. I am still learning. But this guy was quite elderly. He's retired, but his wife is still working. And he was like, this woman keeps sending me money. So I'm like, what woman? He's like, my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then he was like, yeah, it's end month. So I was like, okay, so why are you complaining if your wife is sending you money?
Mm-hmm.
Then he told me, young man, sit down. Do you want to know the meaning of freedom? So I was like, okay, tell me. He told me when he got married, his wife was in college that time. So what was he doing? He was on providing everything.
Yeah.
And because he was a young banker, he started being sent to towns and sometimes outside the country. So because those days it was the signatory, he took his wife, put her as a signatory to his account. Then he told her, I'll be gone for 3 months. The money is there, pay rent, do everything you have to do. Many years later, the guy just used to take what he needs. The wife managed the finances, went back to school, got a job. Now from where she's in a very senior position, almost to retire. But every month, she still sends the guy an allowance. All the goals they discussed, he's like, you know, me, I don't have that discipline. Me, I just need my... And the guy is so free that there are decisions he will be called to approve. But he knew his strength. He knew his weakness. So he was telling me, now this is the meaning of freedom.
Yeah.
Now if you try, you're doing shopping. Your wife is going shopping, when do you negotiate kitungu? You're busy asking her. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that might work for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But have these conversations of, where is my strength? Okay? As you court, don't rush to bed. You see the problem with our young people? We are all rushing to bed. Are we together? With the best looking one. Yeah. You know? But we are not having these conversations of, what do you think about money? Okay, what do you think about inheritance? What do you think about black tax?
Yes, please.
Yeah? So the moment you're having this conversation, now it becomes a wider analysis where I don't think I can really marry this person. Yeah. It is okay to say no, that, I don't feel like we share the same values. But I feel like we are rushing too much. So back to your question. It is okay. It is okay to admire people. You don't know. Since you're in social media, you get offers. Hey, Amos, mention this when you shoot it.
Yeah, ni tag.
And we are getting it almost for free. But now, you're under pressure to come and ask, hey, Amos, that's the whole idea. And a case in point, the guy who makes my suits, I'll give a shout out to him if people want. He lives in Kibera. But I told him, rebrand, be going to people's offices, do your measurements.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Solve people's problems. I have longer hands, so I normally get a problem with suits. And that's how he set up his business. But now, because of giving him many clients, sometimes will tell me, I have a suit for you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But now in social media, you're thinking this guy has spent 100,000 shillings. No. So always, again, back to the conversations you have. Discuss deeper things. Fears. Okay, as couples.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you answered. Hakuna haraka sasa. We had another question from the gentleman there. I think.
Yeah, I don't know that it answers that one, but I like what you said about values. If you go for money, you'll also get pain with it. If you go for values, money may not be there, but eventually the money will come. And I also want to then speak to the ladies who are listening.
Yes, please.
Because sometimes I think the pressure comes from you. And your orientation is, if a man has money, it doesn't matter what they look like or what values they have. I want the money. Yeah. Now, eventually there's going to be pain with it. Of course, many times you may find a man who has money but also has good values. But if your first attraction is money, and money has wings, sometimes may fly because of COVID or something else.
Oh, yes.
Then what are you going to live for? So we need to teach our girls as well, our daughters, that a man is not the summation of a man is not money.
Yeah.
But in the houses of worship, we need these conversations very clearly. As we do premarital counseling, we need to guide people, and we usually do, and not all places of worship. But we need these conversations because that's a place where a lot of people come, and they feel like we want to be trained on values. So as we prepare people to get married, let's have those conversations. If we don't, it's going to be a big deal later in their marriage. But then for the men, we need to create those places of vulnerability. I think it's one of the things we don't do very well in places of worship. Women naturally socialize and get deep in chamas and other places. Men, if you just leave them alone, they're going to talk about Manu and how badly they are doing. You look like Manu. We're going to talk about those things out there, but they'll not get vulnerable. We need to build the culture, right from places of worship to golf courses and to many other places. Build that culture of vulnerability, but also be very frank with each other. Don't lie to a girl by buying her very expensive things and you borrowed the money, then you're setting yourself up. Just say, this is what I can afford. If you can't accept me for who I am, too bad. There are many other girls out there. But if you try to impress, sustaining that impression is going to kill you. Just be yourself and be vulnerable and play at your level.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I've seen a man hire cars because they're going on first dates, second dates. Then you realize it's a full-on relationship now. You cannot continue hiring these cars anymore. But one thing we've agreed is that there's a lot of silence. There's a lot of trauma. And then this leads me to you, Kagondu. Like Amos said earlier, that the women show up. They want to learn. They want to do better. And I think in therapy as well, counseling, women show up. What about the men? What are the statistics like when it comes to men who knock on your door or give you a call and be like, Mimi sina mtu mwingine wa kuongelesha, but I need help. Please, how can you assist?
I have a friend who says something must kill.
Amen. Kimbuzi, loudly.
Okay, but unfortunately, I have very few clients who are men and many these days who come for support, and I've seen this because of how we are built up. Okay, and if there is any who is walking into the therapy room, then
okay, let's try sort your mic fast, but then we can have oh, there you go. Okay, I don't know if that will work. Will that work? Ah, fantastic. Then we need to give the one that's not okay. Fantastic. Okay, there you go. Continue, please. Sorry,
good brother. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we need to take care of each other.
Absolutely.
So what am I saying? I've seen most of the men who walk into the therapy room, they're actually dragged in by their women. And you understand? Okay. Yes. Very few would be willing to come on a volunteering basis. Okay. And this tells you that we're in a very interesting space, especially when you talk about men and mental health. I had an occasion where we were interacting with some men from, we had a session in Nyeri County. And I remember that particular encounter, there were 47 cases of suicide. Right? And when we were trying to figure out the numbers between the men and the women, you can imagine the number of women in that particular case. Some will say half, but the truth of the matter is that we only had 3, women out of the 47, okay? Telling you that men end up committing suicide more compared to the women. Why is this so? From the other panel, there's a way that we handle ourselves. They really shared on that. And you find that most men, we have this nature of being machismo. We have to be very aggressive with how we handle issues. In case, if it is a lady who is intending to harm themselves, probably watakoroga panado. Okay? But for the one up on top of KCC, because they want the death to be as serious as it can be. Okay, so you find that yes, women are going to attempt more, but for the men, they complete more compared to the ladies. And this tells you that we don't sort out support, we don't call out for help. Okay, we tend to keep to ourselves, and especially because of how we tend to look at ourselves, and more so trying to protect the image. Okay, so I'm not going to talk to my friend Bevi, because if I share the issues that I'm going through, then I might look like a weakling. If I go out talking to a therapist, they call me a sissy. All right. So you end up keeping to yourself and really struggling at the end of the day. So if you compare the numbers between men and women, go to the recreational centers, talk about the prisons.
Just put your mic closer.
Okay. When you go to the prisons, like a case scenario, thicker prisons, the number of men, it will be plus 1,000. Okay, but for the women department, it will be somewhere 60 to 70. If you go to the rehabs, okay, the number of men are more compared to the women. Go to the Daily Nation newspaper, obituary, who are more? It will be men, all right? Telling you that men are actually an endangered species. And this is because we don't know how to come out and talk about the issues that we are facing. We don't know how to be vulnerable, especially amongst our people. In case I'm going through an issue, then my spouse, I'm not going to tell them, right? I tend to keep that off from them. And in case I have some challenges, then I don't have a to-go-to space. So what am I saying? That we have seen men really struggle, and you see our coping mechanisms are quite negative, okay? So you find that whenever I'm facing some issues, I will take one drink, then eventually the drink is going to take the drink, then unfortunately the drink is going to take the man at the end of the day. Yeah. So you find that we are losing so many men at the end of the day, especially because they don't know how to deal with the issues that they are facing on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. How many people in our audience today, just by show of hand, you've gone to counseling? For atakama ulidragiwa, you've gone to individually or because you were going with your partner? Individually. Okay. And there's yes, he did. And you have let's get you another mic. That mic is not working. But as we get that mic, I think it's a very important thing that we're talking about, because we have a few minutes remaining, but I hope we will get to what do we need to do then, financially, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. Sometimes we let ourselves go. You know what I mean? And I saw a video that you did about that. I saw a video that you did about that. So as we get that,
something I could add,
yes,
as we get to Emmanuel. As men, we should never walk alone. Whether you're Man City or Liverpool, we all meet around. You should never walk alone, huh?
Good one.
I think it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you stand alone, you're weak. Yeah. Something is going to push you down. You need other men around you. So I think we should build this culture as men, where you have 2, 3, 4 men that you meet regularly, talk with. You grow a relationship eventually where you can talk about your mental struggles, your other struggles, and this is your team. So never walk alone. I just wanted to say.
Thank you. I think we've gotten the mic. Yes, Emmanuel.
All right, thank you so much. And those are very good questions, and I think they reflect what's going on within society. I think one of the things that has given me personal freedom is understanding what principles of life are. Now, if you talk to Pastor Mbevi, he probably would share similar sentiments. Like, for example, our lives don't exist for just us. Our lives exist for something greater than us. All right, so we were created with a purpose. The purpose was to, 1, multiply, 2, be fruitful, and 3, for us to rule the earth. And then when God saw that, the man, that there was something missing from the man, he added a helper and a support system and a support structure. All right. So for the man, you need to understand that, okay, God has given you a purpose. The purpose is greater. And when you're getting somebody in your life, then you're looking for somebody who together you can achieve this purpose. All right. So when you think about the helper, we often talk about, or women talk about this, Proverbs 31 woman. Yeah. And like, oh, I desire to be a Proverbs. Me, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. But let me tell you, And we want a Proverbs 31 woman, but has anyone ever read what the Proverbs 31 woman is? If you actually read about this woman, 1, she rises early. 2, she's faithful, she's pleasant. But 3, this woman is the ultimate hustler. This woman is a businesswoman. She's the one who goes and buys shambas. She takes whatever has been grown in the shamba and sells it, meaning that whatever distorted, ideology we have, that the man is the singular provider of the home, I think that's where the rain starts beating. And I think that rain started beating in the 60s and the 50s, 60s, and 70s, as the man was trying to get back his place after the wars and his place had been taken. So there's a narrative he painted, which is now coming to bite him not him, but is coming to bite his descendants in the butt. All right? So the woman thinks that this is the sole whatever of the man, but she does not understand her place too. And it's important for us to now begin to talk about all these holistic things within society so that the man understands, okay, I can be a visionary, but as a CEO, the greatest CEOs depend on the knowledge that the CFO, the CTO, the CIO, the COO give them. All right? Yeah. So how can I lean also on my wife, her having different talents, her having different personality, her having different perspective? How can I listen to her so that I can make the right decisions for our family? And it's in listening to her that she has trusted me more, and in listening to her that I've made better decisions that are holistic within the relationship. So I think it's about understanding the principle. So as a man, I'll do the best to work on me, to gain vision, to gain purpose so that I can impact society. But at the same time, I have to understand that my responsibility is to find the person who will be the support system that I can do that. Not just look for any baby girl out there, just because she's cute and everything. No.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. And our time has run out for maybe, I think a minute each, if we can try. I know I have only 2, but we're 3. What would be the parting shot, an encouragement maybe? And if there's spaces that are available to you that you can extend to the men here and the men who are watching, please share them.
Let me just be fast. For all men out there, the best way to cheat on death is to invest in the immediate next generation. I have 2 young boys. Between them and myself, there's a whole bunch of young people. Let me invest in them. Let me be a good example to them. Number 2, men, there are seasons. You see, an umbrella is deemed useless when the sun is up. Okay? But when it starts to rain, we begin to look for it. Please prepare for the seasons. Any man I've seen worth his salt has gone through a dip. That season is coming. So just prepare for the same. And then finally, please audit your behavior. Sit down with yourself. Audit yourself. Ask yourself, am I a going concern? Even as an individual.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would repeat something I said earlier. Mwanaume, honor, duty, and care.
Honor, duty, and care.
We sit on a 3-legged stool. Honor is your character. Mwanaume values. If you don't have clear values and convictions, life is going to push you down. So values, honor, duty, play your responsibilities. Do what you need to do. Sit on your seat. Pull your weight. Be a man who is responsible. First for yourself and then to others. And thirdly is care. Let's care for each other. I would say, because this is February, relationships are built on complementarity. We support each other. I bring my strengths, you bring yours, and we do the dance as we complement each other. And just to invite those who would like to come to the places where then we help men. Enough. We have done now 60,000 men. We'll be glad to have you come and we talk together through this and mentor boys. We're trying to mentor 1 million boys in partnership with many others. 1 million boys by 2030 from last year. Okay. I think it's easy to talk about the boy child, but we need to do something. Talk
exactly.
Is cheap, let's invest.
Yes, let's do something about it. Kagondu.
Thank you. I want to build that from the care.
Yes.
And if I need to practice self-care, then that means that I have to empower myself first. All right. For me to support my brother, I have to have supported myself first. So fill your cup fast. And for my brothers who have gone for therapy, it's not a show of weakness.
No.
In fact, that is empowerment. So if you're out there and you feel you're not okay, it's still okay not to be okay, but it's still okay to talk about it. Come to us. We support you. So Mind Care Africa, that's where I practice. Becoming a Man, it's a very good tool for every man out there. Ensure that you get a copy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, gentlemen, for being amazing, and for the audience as well. Mwanaume, si wallet peke. Mwanaume ni values, okay? Audit yourself. Are you a growing concern? And also take the time to be vulnerable, because it is strength right there. So be vulnerable today, because you open up spaces, not just for yourself, but for other people as well. And I like that you need to invest in the next generation, because that's how you cheat death. Thank you so much for joining us today on Your World, and for being amazing on my first day. Winnie,
I feel like
Winnie,
I need to come there and say, hey, you did
for allowing me to sit in your home comfortably.
This is your home now.
This
is your home now. And we also say thank you really to each and everyone, of you who came in. Thank you so much for also being the great audience that you are. So tunaenda home better. I hope so. Sindio, twende therapy. Tuongee. Right? Yeah, Mwongei watoke. So special thanks again to your panel this morning. From Rev Baby, Amos, Kagondu. We also have Dr. Okello and Emmanuel as well. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you for also engaging with us online. Let me just read one comment here. I think more or less what Emmanuel said, and they said, I believe in this contemporary world, when it comes to financial capability, it has nothing to do with the gender roles, despite the fact that men should be the sole provider. That is why, as a man, it is important to choose the best woman for yourself, who will make your life easy. I think we should have a part 2 of this, to really understand what it is as women that we need to do. What we need to unlearn, relearn, all of that, to just make sure that tunaelewana. Proverbs 31 woman. Ndio mimi. Tuamke asubuhi. Absolutely. Yes. Sisi tunaamka mapema. The ultimate hustler. All right, but on that note, we have to unfortunately end the show here, and I hope that you have been inspired, you have unlearned, and you have relearned, and now, you have that space, safe space. I'm pretty sure you have identified, that safe space for you to go and just talk, okay? It doesn't have to be issues, okay? Just go and talk, as men. So thank you so much for being with us. My name is Winnie Lubembe. And I am Wikali Mary. All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning on Relationship Tuesday, where you all know we talk about relationships, okay? And tomorrow we'll continue a conversation that we started last week, and that is on jealousy in relationships, especially mother-in-law and their daughters-in-law, okay? But also tomorrow is World Cancer Day, so we'll also have a conversation on the same in terms of, illnesses, diseases, and their strain on relationships. A conversation you do not want to miss. But for now, allow us to say goodbye, God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Adios.
On the 7th of March 2025, we embrace the theme of marching forward. Here we stand as symbols of progress.
Together, we march with confidence and grace, showing the world that when women rise, everyone rises.
As the sun dips below the horizon, we transition from the greens to the glamour of the evening.
We are inviting you, all the lovely ladies, to please join us at the Muthaiga Golf Club for a very unique experience.
Hello. Mko wapi? Nimetoka Swimo, just chilling in the house. You know the vibes.
Mimi niko hapa klabu na kula smocha. Sasa nishinde hapa hadi saa ngapi?
But now come.
ama nipande nganya nikamivo.
Oya, wase mko wapi?
Wetulia bana, tunakam.
Trafika Nairobi noma. Tutachelewa.
Tunakam, chill.
Sawa, nyinyi mtanipata mbele.
Sometimes, a change of scenery can do wonders for a player's career. Some move abroad for more first-team opportunities, while others want to experience something different before hanging up their boots. For veteran defender Kyle Walker, he's using the final stage of his career to seek a new challenge after swapping England for Italy.
To protect our family from germs that cause illness when it's cold, we use Dettol soap.
Dettol soap with germ defense gives you protection. When it's cold, germs are transferred in different ways. And Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
NTV, turning on your world.
Working out this.
Yawa hii homa imenisiba mapua na pumua tu kama samaki.
Where did you get the homa, Mama Otis? Now I sound like a welding machine.
Mama Otis, lakini si ni wewe umenipea hii homa.
What do you mean?
Achana naye basi. Sasa Baba Otis, ile mambo yetu sasa tunafanya.
But Mama Otis, you asked for 30,000 yesterday. It's a new day. You already want another 10,000.
Nikikule chama papa na Rhodes.
What about the 20,000 I gave you last week?
Yeah, Baba Otis. Sasa shopping ya nyumba isifanye.
But now this 10,000, you need it for what again?
Mama ya Alphonse anakula chama leo. Na Baba Otis sitaki kupigwa fine.
It's okay, Mama Otis, but the frequency between which you are asking for the Kenyatta dollars is narrowing daily.
Ni ya mwiso tu Baba Otis, nitarudisha.
Yeah, yeah, African ho.
Asante. Lakini Baba Otis, hata kama kuomba pesa inafanya unajoa uso hivyo hata ucheki. Ama nimeomba sana. Umejoa sura ma Ama naomba sana. Baba Otis, najua nimeomba sana, nitarudisha. Acha nipatie Otis.
When I was 3 years old, I was already an adult in an African home. And if you leave the house, you better be home by 6 in an African home.
Otis, unafagia?
Yes, ma'am.
Nataka unipelekee hii nini? Hii pesa kwa uniweke kwa M-Pesa. Nitumie mama wa chama, Mama Alphonse.
Hiyo ni nini?
Hii ni chapati. Otis, kwani una macho? Chukua hii haraka unipelekee kwa M-Pesa, nataka kulipa chama.
African home, African home, African home, African home. Kunoma, 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 African home.
Wait a minute. This is actual money in my hands. What if I can multiply this money and keep the profit for myself? What can I do with this little time I have? This is 10,000 shillings.
Banaka cool kid. Signing my form talk missing toka juicy. Jerini toxic sana.
Boys. Niaje?
Naona uko na stress.
Stress kiaje? Wewe unajua.
Najua kuna mtu anahitaji usaidizi. Na wewe my brother ni kama ndugu yangu. So fanya hivi. This paper here imebeba your future.
Future yangu kiaje?
I'm a lucky guy. So naweza share bahati yangu na wewe.
How?
You are ready to multiply your money.
Jesus is Lord.
African
Hello? Yes. Hello? Naongea na nani?
Naitwa Otis.
Unasemaje?
Ulinipea namba yako 1 month ago.
Nakujua. Wewe ni ule Mwarabu wa Majaba?
Hapana.
Wewe basi ni ule kijana wa governor, si ndio?
Aizi, tulikutana side za Sirombe huko.
Sirombe?
Like a while back.
Amwe ni huyo kijana wa kipara na mandevu mingi.
What? No, mimi ni Otis, ule boy nywele mingi.
Si unaona najua. Sasa unasemaje?
So niko na do fulani hapa.
Okay.
Continue. Nataka ni multiply this money manze.
Bas, I'm the right guy. I'm the one. So I got you. Usijali. So utafanya hivi.
Aje.
Mimi nauza odds za World Cup.
Unauza odds?
Yes.
I don't understand.
This is what I do. Sawa? I predict a rare outcome of the game. Na ikiingiana pap, unakuwa the richest person under the sun.
Under the sun? What about Elon Musk and Bill Gates?
Don't worry. They'll have nothing compared to you.
Wow, so ni do?
So do this. Send the money to me. Because I sell an odd at 5,000 Kenyan shillings.
Mi niko na hapa 10,000 shillings.
Very good. Nitumie 5,000, then the rest of the money iput kwa hii odd yenye nakutumia sai.
Ndio niko na cash, bado sijaika kwa M-Pesa.
Haina shida.
So tufanyaje?
Take a pen and a paper. No. Nitumie 5K kwanza. Alafu na kutumia the odds kwa SMS after receiving the money.
Aya, sawa, doing that in a few.
Damn, I'm about to be rich.
African home. African home. Kunoma. African home.
Maiji, maimenja. Ni kama umeingiza kitu bwana.
Bucks. Hii imeingiana hii.
Imeingiana? Hata leo umenishinda kwa kupata bwana. Imeingiana.
Mimi ni kama Liko Dangote, the businessman.
Businessman? Wewe nani umepata bwana?
Ni mtoi fulani hapa. Wacha nimtumie odds.
Ametuma ngapi?
5K.
Bwana leo tunakula nzuri bwana. Mwambie 5 France Germany 1-0.
Uko sure? 1-0 ama 1-2.
Sema 1-0 bwana. Hiyo game ni ngumu bwana. Sisi bora tumepata do ya jaba ama.
Sawa, na kutumia nusu.
Haya sawa. Acha mimi nitafute pia next patient. Wapi simu bwana?
Bucks, check.
Can we? 1-0. Nice. The game is almost starting. Acha ni bet very fast. 1-0. Correct score. Bet placed. Nice. Guy, I'm going to be so rich. I put 5,000 bob for this game. If it turns out 1-0, I get what? Let me see. 674,000 shillings. Then I give mom back her 10K. Na back na 664,000 shillings. First what I'll do, nitaanzisha shop ya PS. Na manguo alafu the rest of the money I do what? I go flex on Cynthia. Hey. Seleni kata, what's up baby? The game was started. Amekawia hivi mbona?
Have you tried calling him?
Hii simu ndo sijui imesemeka ama naona amekaa sana.
But it's just been 25 minutes only.
Sasa nilimwambia nachelewa chama, aniwekee pesa nitumie mama Alphonse. Sasa aona naenda kupigwa fine.
Don't worry, I know he will be here. You know how that boy drags. When he gets here, I will give him a proper lecture on that. He cares not for time or what.
Pia mpesa ya hapa chini tu anachukua hizo dakika zote yao jamii.
Teenagers are just beyond help. But that is exactly where we come in.
Wacha rudi. tick. Tick. Victim mwingine weka tick. Tick. Sasa leo weka tick. Tick. Na Kajaba leo weka tick. Tick. Na leo busy imekuwa fiti bwana. Leo tutaenjoy bwana.
Bugs, tulia na bado. Hizo games zote lazima tuziuze.
Lakini wewe usiblock our clients bwana.
Kwani sijui good customer service?
Please stay on standby as we put you through to our customer services.
Weka tick.
Bado nil. Ay. Score, man. Score. Ay. My mom's money. That's my mom's money. Why is nobody scoring? Oh my God. Na tuko minute? Oh my God. It's almost half time. Oh my God. What if that guy was a scammer? Yeah, my mom's money. Still 0-0.
Oh my God.
40 minutes have passed. Ay. Almost half time. My mom's money, please.
Hello. Mama Alford. Otiso biru irikani. Nilimtuma na pesa ya chama niweke kwa gini. M-Pesa nikutumie.
Hakuna kitu imeingia na sijaona yeye.
Hajakuja huko?
Hajakuja huku na umechelewa kulipa chama sasa mama Otiso.
Si ati nilichelewa, nilitumana.
Ati ulitumana na bado hajarudi bado.
Ndio tunangoja yeye hapa.
Sasa hii na umejaribu kupigia yeye simu kweli?
Simu yake ndio sijui ya kuchaja ama ni nini, haingi.
Ama alienda M-Pesa ile ya barabara ile mbali. Hebu tungoje.
Acha ningoje.
Akifika pigia mimi.
Haya.
Usichelewe kutuma mama Otiso.
Usijali akiweka tu hivi. Papa na kutumia.
Ukichelewa unajua itabidi tu umetoleswa fine ya 5,000.
Mtoto sasa hizi ni kazi gani anafanyisa? Nenda kupigwa fine juu yake.
African ho.
Hii game ya hii jamaa imeanza kuuma nje bwana.
Bugs, kwani hizi ni vitu zinakusumbua?
Hainisumbui. Who cares whether amewin ama amelu? Sisi bora our pockets are fat. Leo lazima nyama choma, kamnyweso like kawaida.
Bugs, na jiko wapi?
Here is my G. Continue. Ya kukata maji.
Get out here for real.
Goja.
Nini?
Score. Please. That's my mom's money. Score.
He's facing Neuer. He scored.
Yes! Yes! 1-0. Damn. France scored. So the prediction was right. I'm going to be rich.
Hey, kwani hiyo prediction yangu imeingiana?
Haya. So nenda kuinido zote.
Ilikuwa najua kuna prediction ikaingiana bwana.
Sasa tufanye hivi. Tumcall, tumshoot kuna game zingine, alafu tumcharge 50.
Bwana tunaenda kuwa tajiri juu ya prediction yetu bwana. Lazima tukulie hiyo bwana.
Fanya hivi. Wacha tumpigie, tumwambie tuko na prediction nyingine.
Sawa.
Sasa Bugs, alafu unajua ni nini?
So that you could finish the assignment with her. Yes.
And daughter, where is your brother?
Me, I left him at home. Now I can't reach him on phone.
He can't be
He just
reached.
texted 10 minutes ago that he's so rich we can't reach him anymore.
Where are you, first of all?
I'm at my friend's place. We are studying chemistry.
And you don't know where he is.
I don't know.
Hata ndio huyu anapiga.
Have you tried calling him?
Otis.
Tunaenda kuwa millionaires. Niko na mazuri.
Ati mazuri gani?
To be rich, we are going to the next level.
Otis uko wapi na mbona hujadeposit pesa yenye niliku? Mtoto amekuwa wasimu. Amenipigia kama mfurahi ajabu. Sasa sijui nini nafurahisha hii mtoto hivyo.
He was excited. Why yet he did not do what you asked him to do?
Hata mimi nashangaa. Hebu acha tungoje tuone.
African ho.
The game is at 90 minutes. Yani, hii bet imeingiana. I've literally won. I'm about to win over 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Bro, I'm so rich. It just hits me that I'm... Yeah! 1-1. Mtu amefunga last minute. Wait. How is this? How is it? Nataka muniombe.
Oh my God.
I'm going through a lot of problems. Na ni mimi nilijiletea.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Maybe next time.
Aje bro try kivo labda kona. Hiza mazee ningekutumia leo lakini mazee ndo nimetumia madheodo sahi.
Hebu try Pamela mkolu.
Kwani rada ni gani? Sahi ni kumba. Mazee hiza mazee.
Mfulat mazee ungenicall jana nilikuwa nimekufunga.
Sahi sina. Kisiko ubaya, sahi sina.
Sahi sina. Kwani form ni gani? Kuna deal nategea ngoje Wednesday. Nambari uliopiga hapa nyumbani kwa sasa. Network angalia namba hakika hatuwezi kukamilisha.
Ini Otisa siki simu tena baba Otisa.
Let us wait for him to get back here.
Nimempigia ini mara 8 ya siki. Ni mtoto anadharau mama yake.
He will never dare.
Ini kasi gani ananifanyisa? Nilimtuma saa 4. Saa 4 saa 8.
I wonder what he is thinking. Should we go and look for him?
Asipofika hapa by saa 9, tupigie polisi.
Bucks. Game yake iliuma nje last minute.
Hey, na pia nilikuwa namuombea ashinde tukulie bwana. Sasa amelose, mblock bwana.
Ameshinda akinipigia simu. Kwani ajui goods one sold.
Mblock bwana.
Wachata ni block.
Mblock. Next patient.
Ashiki. Hai. Hello, Akot. Hey, Akot, I need your help, manzi.
I knew it. Umedu nini this time?
Kuna blunder imehappen.
Oh my God, blunder tena.
Manzi naomba. I need help. Kuna blunder imehappen. So, mama alinipatia 10k. Manzi nikabet nayo manzi.
Ukabet? Are you serious? Did you win?
Sija win, nime lose.
My God, Otis. Nani pesa ya mama?
10k ya mama ya chama.
Ya chama? You are so dead.
Uko?
Siko home, niko kwa best yangu mimi.
Hauko home?
Kuna stima ring.
Unarudi?
Sioni nikirudi.
Yai.
Sasa hivi ni ushablanda hata sitaki kukaa.
Akot acha hizo manze. Kama kuna 10k nitakurudishia by next week, I swear I'll refund.
Ati uta refund from where?
Please.
With all the drama that's about to be there sikuji.
So kuji home nilikuwa nataka mtu anaweza nitetea kwa mama.
Tetea ati ya do.
I
don't want anything to do with this.
Sasa amekata.